Welcome to Money Talks. I'm Cathy Yang, your intel on the Philippine markets and the economy. In the headlines, President Marcos says information gathered by the ICI and DPWH on anomalous flood control projects will be turned over to the Ombudsman. The President says these include those relating to former House Speaker Martin Romualdez and former lawmaker Zaldico. The Monetary Board in its October minutes observed weaker business confidence as alleged corruption on some infrastructure projects tempered public spending. It cited the situation as temporary, lasting a couple of months. And bond funds on high. As the risk-off environment persists, bonds have been a favored asset class so far this year. We check in on Angie Pases, CEO of AIA Investment Management Philippines. President Bongbong Marcos says all information gathered by the ICI and DPWH on questionable flood control projects will be turned over to the Ombudsman for investigation. According to Marcos, these include those related to former Speaker Martin Romualdez and former Congressman Zaldico. He added that the evidence may lead to possible charges including plunder, graft, or indirect bribery, depending on Ombudsman Boying Remulla's review.
Ito ay tungkol sa mga impormasyon ng dating Speaker Martin Romualdez at saka ni Zaldico. Pag nakita lahat ng ebidensya, baka mag-file ng kaso ng plunder o anti-graft o indirect bribery. Malakas naman ang loob natin na yung ombudsman, ang ginagawa lamang ay sumusunod sa ebidensya. At kung saan tayo dinadala ng ebidensya, doon pupunta ang ating investigasyon.
On Tuesday, the Ombudsman filed the first batch of cases in the flood control scandal before the Sandigan Bayan. In a forum on Thursday, Remulla says Leyte Congressman Martin Romualdez reached out to him over the flood control scandal. Remulla said he talked to the former House Speaker Romualdez out of respect as a fraternity brother and former colleague at the lower chamber. The Ombudsman clarified that this is the only time he spoke to Romualdez since the flood scam probe started.
Trying to explain his side that he had no hand in many things. But that's all I can remember.
Anong sagot?
Wala, just, diba? We just follow the evidence, that's it.
The Finance Department warns a 1 trillion peso slash in the government's revenue if the proposed cut in value-added tax is implemented. The agency expressed strong reservations in the proposal, warning that it could undermine the administration's fiscal consolidation efforts and risk credit rating downgrade. House Bill number 4302 proposes to cut the VAT rate to 10% from the current 12%. DOF said this would lead to substantial revenue losses over the next 5 years. The VAT accounts for around 26.5% of total tax stake and 29.9% of government revenues. Meantime, the Bureau of Internal Revenue has collected almost 7 billion pesos from the 12% VAT on digital services. This was since the digital VAT took effect in June. The DOF said this provides a lift to revenue intake amid slower growth and corruption probes weighing on collections. Former BIR Commissioner Romeo Lumagi earlier projected the tax agency will collect 10 billion pesos in VAT from digital services this year. And speaking of digital, the government is aiming to increase the digital economy's share to gross domestic product to 12.5% by 2028. The Department of Information and Communications Technology intends to do this by fast-tracking digital infrastructure projects and attracting more hyperscalers to operate in the country. Hyperscalers are major tech firms that build massive data centers to support cloud computing and artificial intelligence. The digital economy's contribution to the Philippine economy was 8.5% in 2024. The ICT Secretary Henry Aguda said the Philippines is lagging in digitization and there's already a need to make the country's Asia the logical landing point of data. Meanwhile, the growth track for the Philippines remains at 6% annually. Economic Secretary Arsenio Balisacan said this in a statement, noting steady investment, productivity and technology gains, and a healthy labor market. Growth is expected to fall short of government targets following the slowdown in public spending in the wake of the infrastructure corruption scandal, as well as the series of calamities this year. Economic managers have conceded the economy is unlikely to hit the official 5.5% to 6.5% target band in 2025. However, Balisacan affirms the economy remains strong despite recent governance challenges and continuing global uncertainties. Well, with us now for more is Angie Pasis, the CEO of AIA Investment Management Philippines. It's good seeing you again, Angie. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you. Happy to be here, Cathy.
It's been quite a ride in the markets this week, Angie. We started the week with the protest rallies from Quirino Grandstand to EDSA Monument, and then the cabinet revamp, and then the tariff reprieve from Trump. But people are still seething, demanding accountability and restitution. So how did the markets hold up against all that?
Okay, so we're seeing going forward, we just had a dead cat bounce today. So the uncertainty is actually going to have the market, we think, over the next year or so, seesawing with a downward bias. So yeah, the uncertainty is going to...
Angie, I think we've lost you, but we'll bring you back soon after. It's been some time since I heard Dead Cat Bounce, but we'll pick up soon after we make Angie available. I think you're back with us. Angie, I haven't heard Dead Cat Bounce in a very long time. Is the cat still alive? I mean, we've been in this risk-off environment for the longest time. It was all about seeking havens, it seems. Would you characterize it that way with more than 11 months already lapsed in 2025?
Yes, remember when we started the year, right? First, it was with the uncertainty around the Trump presidency and how his tariff policy will unfold. And it did happen, not as bad, not as bad as everybody expected it to unfold. And now it's really the another corruption scandal that actually undermines the political stability, confidence, and more importantly, there's going to be a slowdown in growth in the next few quarters.
Well, let's pick up on that and take you through the chart you just gave us about an hour back. I've seen those gyrations there on the chart, and when you look very closely, you've pointed out the different scandals that we've faced since, I believe, 2008. 2009, when it got really terrible. Take us through it and what you're seeing beyond what we're seeing on this chart.
All right. So I would just like to remind the markets, this is the market, not necessarily the economy, that, what's happening now is not exactly new to the Philippine market. And this actually shows the behavior of the market after a big scandal like PDAF, like the pork barrel scam. Yes, there is an acute drawdown, but later on, actually, it does tend to recover, mainly because there will be fundamental factors that will actually assert itself. Like in most cases, the market just gets so cheap that the valuations become compelling. Or sometimes there are tailwinds, like you have the VAT finally changing the trajectory of government revenue. So that's more or less it. So what I'm actually trying to point out here is, stick to the numbers and not the noise.
Right. Stick to the numbers, not the noise, but we don't even know the numbers. We have yet to take accounting of exactly what's happened. And when I look at the chart, the last time we had a big scandal that really worried the markets was the Pharmaly scandal, just a couple of years back. But we hadn't even gone to that level. At what point would you say we've already hit bottom, that we're at the cheapest point in the history of the PSEI?
All right. So I don't see the PSEI hitting our 2003 levels. I think it's just not the same economy. Your companies are better run. On the Pharmaly scandal, a lot of it, I think, has to do with the state of the economy then. That was actually COVID. So if you look at the downturn in the charts, it's really, I guess, more related to COVID than specifically to the Pharmaly scandal. But what we're waiting for right now is a catalyst that would actually suggest that the trajectory of growth is already changing. So right now, there's a lot of downgrades, and what might be the kicker there? What might change direction is you see actually the government making good on their promise to divert funds from government projects to aid to aid the consumer, and also foreign funds who started to look at the Philippines simply because starting to buzz in the radar as a value play.
It seems like it's going to be a hard carry for the Bangko Sentral. How much of a rate cut would it have to do, whether it's on the key policy rate or on the triple R, to buoy the economy?
All right. So the actions of the Bangko Sentral is still largely related to inflation targeting, more than actually propping up growth, because growth actually puts demand pull inflation impulses. So I think they really have a lot of elbow room, right, with policy rates still high. I think they will continue. There's no hard target. But for as long as they feel that the inflation targeting band is at risk, it's 2% and 4%. Going below that is actually also not healthy. It's very difficult. Deflation is not good. I know we are sick and tired of inflation. Some people think, deflation will be a relief, but deflation actually starts a vicious cycle. So they will cut for as long as they can afford to manage inflation, forward-looking inflation within the 2 to 4% band.
I know, deflation, and when that becomes a spiral, it becomes really difficult. I've lived in Japan to
Exactly.
know that. Bond funds, they've done pretty well this year, and it really shows how risk-off the environment had been. Your bond funds, though, have they reached a high year to date? Has that been sustained?
Yes. Actually, we've been overall our portfolios. We focus on the multi-asset portfolios, and what we've done is we've maximized the allocation on bonds. We've underweighted on equities, and of course we're also neutral now on cash because we're waiting for good prices. But we were also underweight on cash simply because we were anticipating that with the rate cuts, returns on cash will actually be lower. So yes, we've the outlook for Philippine bonds is actually good, in the sense that inflation is low. There's a very high probability that the BSP will continue cutting rates. And another thing that's going for us is the potential inclusion of Philippine bonds into a regional bond index. So when that happens, if that happens, there's going to be a lot of liquidity flowing, and it's a very thin market. So that's actually going to lift bond prices.
Got that. We're still holding out for that that catalyst that you've been looking for. Thank you so much for your insights, Angie. Really appreciate how you've done up that chart and really taken us through all the scandals of been through and how we survived it. Angie Pasis of AIA Investment Management Philippines. And San Miguel Corp President and CEO Ramon Ang has dismissed speculation that he might enter politics. In a statement online, Ang said he believes resolving corruption and stopping the proliferation of substandard projects will never depend on one individual. He says his current focus is to support the government by being a dependable partner in building the country. The tycoon's post came shortly after reports about several businessmen considering Ang as a stabilizing force while the economy suffers from corruption issues. In recent months, Ang's involvement has largely focused on helping local governments in Metro Manila in addressing flooding at no cost to the government. Business tycoon Manny Villar is no longer the Philippines' richest man, according to Bloomberg Billionaires Index. The share price of Villar Land Holdings drastically dropped after the Philippine Stock Exchange lifted the trading suspension imposed in May due to late filing of their 2024 financial reports. Following the stock collapse, Villar's net worth dropped to 7.89 billion pesos, a 65% decline from the same period last year. Shipping tycoon Enrique Razon now surpasses Villar as the richest man in the Philippines, according to Bloomberg. You're watching Money Talks. Coming up in Startup and Beyond, 20 years of helping people plan and live out their dreams. A look into Belle du Jour and into helping people live and achieve personal growth. We speak with Darlene T. Nilo, founder of BDJ. Welcome back to Money Talks. I'm Cathy Yang. We have this developing story. Moments ago, the Public Works and Highways Department, along with the Independent Commission for Infrastructure, has recommended to the Ombudsman the filing of plunder, graft, and bribery cases against former House Speaker Martin Romualdez and former lawmaker Zaldico. Just this morning, President Marcos says the ICI and the DPWH will turn over the information they gather over to the Ombudsman, who will then look into the filing of cases to those linked to the anomalous flood control projects. Stay with One News for the latest on this developing story. The Monetary Board says business confidence has weakened as alleged corruption in some infrastructure projects slowed public spending. In its October minutes, the board noted the impact should be temporary, lasting only a couple of months. The minutes also point to delays in flood control and other public works amid governance concerns, which could dampen investment sentiment in the near term. But the board stressed that government measures to tighten implementation and prevent leakages may boost efficiency over time. And despite the caution, the board moved to cut the policy rate by 25 basis points to 4.75%, citing benign inflation outlook. U.S. stocks have pulled back Thursday as a market-wide rally sparked by blockbuster Nvidia results and guidance losing momentum, and as investors lost hope that the Fed will deliver another rate cut in December. The Dow slipped by 0.8%, S&P 500 fell over 1.5%, and the Nasdaq declined by about 2%. The benchmark 10-year Treasury yields likewise fell 4.105%, and gold prices retreated to $4,056 per ounce. U.S. futures point to slight gains when the markets open later tonight Manila time. The Dow and the S&P both up by about 0.3%, and the Nasdaq climbed by about 0.2%. As for the Asian markets, it's all in the red this Friday. Australia's ASX 200 falling over 1.25%. South Korea's Kospi slipping over 3.3%. And Japan's Nikkei 225 down 2.25%. And a look at our own market. See how the PSCI has opened this Friday? It is looking lower by about 0.7%, 5,887. The local bourse advanced further to 5,900 level yesterday, Thursday, amid investors' renewed optimism following the exemption of local agricultural products from U.S. tariffs. As for the Philippine peso, it opens a tad stronger, 59.05 to the dollar. The local currency closed yesterday at 59.06 against the greenback after the minutes from the Fed last policy meeting dampened expectations of an interest rate cut next month. And the 10-year government bond yields have ticked down to 5.895%. Belle du Jour is a pioneering Filipino brand recognized for its power planner and a vibrant community built around empowering individuals, especially women, to live with intention, pursue big dreams, and create purposeful lives. Celebrating over 2 decades of inspiring stories and milestones, BDJ's planners and tools have helped thousands design their personal journeys, build systems for success, and connect with a supportive network of fellow dreamers. Well, with us now for more is Darlene P. Nilo, the founder of Belle du Jour. Good to have you with us. Darlene, welcome to the program. And congratulations on 20 years.
Thank you, Cathy. Thank you for having me here.
Right. So how does a planner designer thrive all of 20 years, given the disruption and the innovation we've seen with mobile phones, where practically it's limited our writing skills and just, tap on the device and put in all our plans in there?
Yes. So actually, even when we started with the BDJ Power Planner, at least 50% of our users actually use digital or their laptops or the calendar alongside with the BDJ Power Planner. So actually what we say, it's a getting things done system. So it's not necessarily just going 100% digital or 100% on paper. So it's something that you put together as a system to help you make things work with your life.
It's a system and it's a demographic that is also evolving, given that you've got Gen A kids. You've got 2 girls or Gen
Yes.
A. I've got a Gen Z kid, and I'm noticing that they're writing less.
Yes.
A paper to the pen, no thanks, because you got that mobile phone to plan and really build your life around with.
Correct.
What is the sort of demographic that you're chasing right now, or even nurturing as you're building that community?
I think one of the things that we were trying to do, at least at this point in time, is given all the stress that we get from social media with digital, one of the things that you can do to be able to decompress is actually to journal or write things down. So it's actually very good in terms of mental health. You decompress, you take the time out to stay away from all the technology so that you can, when you come back, you feel a bit fresher or you feel a bit more clear, which is the intention.
And that's something that you've been able to convince your kids to do?
Yes, my kids actually journal, so that we do like a family journaling. In terms of gratitude, we pick like we do some creative stuff like stones like with values inside. So like, why did the stone pick me? So we write about it.
Like the stone of gratitude,
Yes,
of love,
and then what am I
patience.
yes, for example, yeah.
And COVID really brought home that lesson of self-care and self-help because you got to be certified as a journal
therapy,
therapist.
yes.
Exactly what does that mean? And why is it a perfect symbol of self-care and self-help?
Well, nowadays, so because of all the stimulus and nowadays as well, like with social media, we get judged all the time. That constantly we have to edit ourselves, how we present ourselves, what words do we use, what do we say. So what that creates in us is that we always have to have a filter. So now journal therapy helps you create a safe space for yourself where you are unedited. So we need this kind of release or safe space because all the time, like, we need to be able to present ourselves professional. We want to be politically correct. We don't want to hurt other people. We don't want to be judged. And constantly imagine what does that do to us mentally, emotionally, psychologically. So when you have this space, a controlled space where it's just for you, that you just want to release if you're upset, you're angry, you're sad, you're happy, whatever emotion that is, then that becomes so powerful that you are able to give that to yourself as a form of self-love.
So that means not one planner for everyone. It's no cookie cutter. It's very nuanced. That's why you have a host of planners. And with the coming year, you do have a theme that you've picked. Why?
So essentially, before I answer that question, so in terms of the planner, we do a journal versus a planner. So
that's the journal that we're seeing right now, full of pictures. Is that right?
Yes. So the journal helps you in terms of releasing or clarifying certain emotions and feelings. So when you write things down, as you said, like nowadays, not a lot of people would write things down, but it's a natural organizing tool because it connects your right brain and your left brain. You create more connections with your brain, then you're able to have a bit more clarity. So then, after you have some journaling exercise or activity, and that's why we made different kinds of journals, so which one will fit you at this point in your life, then you can start planning. Because a lot of times, the issue with planning with people is, I don't really know what I want. I think this is what I want. I think this is what my parents want. This is what society wants for me. Or this is the natural logic wherein I should be following this track. But the truth is it really what you want?
Have you got some stories to tell? I mean, all of 20 years, the best story that where a dream became reality because of journaling.
A lot of people would tell me, like with the journaling, I'm sure you know about manifestation. Just because people have become clearer with what they want, whether it's buying a new house, starting a new business. There's a lot of users that we had that didn't have a business, but now have a business because they plotted it out. It's just essentially the selective attention that when you put in your mind on something, because it's so clear, you're able to attract a lot of opportunities related to it.
So somebody's come to you to say, I bought a house because I journalized it.
Yes.
I've manifested it. In terms of measuring impact, though, what are your metrics in saying, I'm doing great, it's my 20th year from startup, I've gone beyond?
For myself,
Yes.
you mean?
And for the business,
For the
BDJ.
business. And I think the metric is really the quality conversations we have with people. That's the most important thing. So for us, it's really how focused we are in terms of our advocacy, the dream empowerment advocacy. So we want more people to be dreaming bigger. We actually this year from Belle de Jour, we changed it to Big Dreams Journey because we wanted to emphasize that people nowadays should go after their dreams, go big dreams. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with the book 10x is better than 2x. So it's easier actually to dream bigger, the 10x versus the 2x, which is very linear.
All right. Well, thank you so much and congratulations on the next 20 years.
Thank you, thank you.
Appreciate the insights there, Darlene. Darlene Tinilo, the founder of Belle du Jour for Startup and Beyond. And before we go, here's something to catch in cinemas this weekend. The second and final chapter of the blockbuster musical titled Wicked for Good is now showing in cinemas. Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande are back as Elphaba and Galinda, joined by Jeff Goldblum, Michelle Yeoh, Jonathan Bailey, and the rest of the returning cast, all under the direction of John Chu. The sequel dives into the fallout of their fractured friendship as both witches step fully into their destinies. The Wicked Witch of the West and Galinda the Good.
Alphabet. I'm a public figure now. People expect me to fly. Be encouraging.
Have a wicked weekend, everybody. That is it for Money Talks. I'm Cathy Yang. Catch us again Monday, 9:30 a.m. Kapatid, we are one news, all sides, all the time. Have a great day ahead.